I'm going to show you guys how to set up a controller for Guild Wars 2 or Final Fantasy XIV or any other game that has no controller support that has a lot of buttons. So we're going to start off with going into Steam, go to your library, click play, and then once you get to your player screen, we can continue on. And here we are. So now we can start doing our setup here. This is going to be a from scratch video, part 1. So there's going to be 6 parts to this. So we're going to go to options. I have loot on interact, pick up everything. And then the other 2 things you want to do, targeting, I have this binded for nearest enemy, next enemy, and previous enemy. And then I have binded on toggle action camera because I like having that on. And then we're going to hit Alt, Shift, and Tab. And we're going to come back to this Steam screen. We're going to right click, go to Properties, Controller. Make sure your controller is plugged in and on. Enable Steam input. And then we're going to go to Controller Configurator. And then we're going to close out of the Steam part of this because we don't need that. And then we're going to do templates, and we're going to do keyboard and mouse. Apply layout. And then we're going to go to edit layout. And here we're just going to go ahead and delete everything out of here. We'll keep the A because I like that for jumping on the controller. That's just my personal preference. But we're going to remove everything else out of all of these commands. Remove command, go to gear icon, remove command. And then we're going to go to D-pad and do the same thing. Because we are going to remap everything eventually. And then joysticks, same thing. Remove command. Here we can keep this the same because these are our movement buttons. And then we'll get rid of that. We'll change that to something else. So over here, you see my controller. I can move forward, but I cannot look around. None of the other buttons work except jump. So nothing else does anything except jump and move side to side and front to back. So we're going to hit Alt, Shift, and Tab again. Or you hit your Windows key if it doesn't pop up. We just want to go back to this. So we're going to do add movement to our right joystick so we can look around in this game. So in order to look around in here, I'll go back here, you have to click and hold the right mouse button to look around. So if I'm holding down my mouse, I can look around and move. But I want the same thing on my joystick. So we're going to do that again. Hit the Windows key, and we're going to come out here to joysticks, right joystick behavior. And we're going to add an outer ring command. So we're going to go to mouse. And we're going to do right mouse click. So what this does is, at a certain point, if you move your right joystick a certain distance from center, it will automatically make this command work. So what we want to do is go to the gear icon up here next to joystick and mouse. And we're going to go to outer ring. And we're going to set this to 1. So as soon as you move this like one tiny space, it'll automatically start that right click button command. So you can hear we're moving. Now I can use my right joystick to look around. And now we have all of our movement that we need for this game. But we have no other commands. We don't have anything besides jump. So that will be part 2 of this. So we're going to go to Windows tab again. Go up here. And we're going to start doing our buttons. Our basic button remapping. So we're going to do all the face buttons that we have without adding any extra commands to them. So X is going to be our F key, which is our interact key. B is going to be V for dodge. Y we'll save here in a second because that's going to be our targeting buttons. So for skills, we're just going to do this now. So left top button, the bumper, is going to be 5. And the right bumper is going to be 0. And then our little hamburger guy down here will be our inventory. And then our two little squares or rectangles, whatever you want to call them, one is going to be the hero. And what we want to do is we want to add a map button to this, so we can go to this gear icon, add an extra command. We're going to M for map, and then we're going to go back to the M key, gear icon, and instead of regular press, we're going to do long press. So click back over here. So now we have dodge out of the way. We can go interact with stuff, even though we haven't added the control for our mouse yet, so we'll do that here in a little while too. And then we have inventory, our hero page, and if you long press it, you have your map. And long press it again to get out. And then I have number 5 skill up on this. And I don't have the 0 skill unlocked yet, but I will show you guys how to do that anyway. It's a little too close. I'm going to scroll out here. Okay. So now we have our basic mapped buttons for our controller. So we're going to go into something a little more complicated now. We're going to do our targeting. So we're going to hit our mouse, or I'm sorry, our Windows key. Go to here, and we're going to go to D-pad. We don't have anything assigned to this yet, but we will. So in D-pad, we want to go to this down arrow. You want to create what's called a mode shift. So what this does, if you changes all the buttons on your controller, if you hold or press another button to make that happen. So what we want to do is now we have to go remap everything. So once we up here, we're looking good. We're going to go to D-pad. So we have our mode shift. So you want to click this gear icon, and no button selected. We want to select the Y button. Click back. And we want to do 4-way, no overlap, because we're just going to be doing three commands. So I'm going to do left arrow. I have previous or next target. Tab would be, I believe, closest. And then this one would be next. So next, closest, and previous. So now that when we hold down the Y, we should be able to target. So here, I can cycle through all these. At the closest, previous, I can cycle through everything to wherever I want to attack. It's pretty easy, and I can just let go of it, and then I can be out of here. So now we have all these buttons mapped. The 2 top trigger buttons, or bumper buttons. So let's go ahead and continue on to the next section. Okay, we want to add in mouse control. we're going to hit our Windows button, go back into here, and then while we're here, we can do right click. I want to add in my action camera toggle, and left click. I want to do run, I believe is what it is. Automatic run. So I don't have to just keep holding down the joystick, and then action toggle gets rid of the cursor, and it's a lot cleaner look. I prefer it this way. You can have it however you want. Just know if you're in action toggle mode like this, you can't use your mouse, you can't use anything else. It kind of screws everything up, so you always have to click out of this. But we are going to go ahead and now do our mouse control. So we're going to hit Windows button again and go back to here. Okay, what we want to do is call an action set. So this will also change everything on your entire controller, but it's set to one specific button. So we want to change this. We're going to add mouse control. Okay, so here's where it gets a little tricky. We can go back up here to joysticks. Go to buttons first. So we're in default. This is highlighted now, but we want to be over in mouse control. Everything is now blank. The controller is reset up to default nothing. So we want to do X as in our interact commands. We're going to hit F, and then joysticks. As soon as you click out of it, it takes you back to default. So you have to pay attention. You want to do mouse control. And then if you go back to default on here, right's on top, left's on the bottom. If you go here, left's on top, right's on the bottom. But as soon as you change this to joystick mouse, it moves it up top. So you have to pay attention to what's going on. We're going to do directional pad. So now we got to go in and add all these back in. And then down here on left click, we want to add mouse left click. And then in here, we're going to leave this joystick mouse. We're going to add a command, right mouse click. And then up here in the gear icon, you want to change the outer ring. I just set it all the way max. It probably works fine here, but I want to be able to use the mouse over the entire screen without adding any extra commands. Even though we don't have any, I just do it just to be safe. Click back again. Okay, so in order to set this up, I want to go to D-pad. And then when I hit down on the D-pad, I want to add this action set. So we're going to change action set to mouse control, confirm. So we want to go over to mouse control. It's blank now because we haven't done anything with it. We're going to do directional pad. Down, we're going to add a command in here. And we're going to change action set back to default. You can have a bunch of different ones in here, but we're going to hit default because we want it, as soon as we click this down again, we want to go back to our default menu. So, in theory, we're walking around, jumping, dodging. We haven't added any skills yet, but as soon as I hit down, I can move the mouse around. I can interact. I can go here, left click. I can sell whatever I want. Left click again. Let's just sell this for 2 gold, because why not? And left click again to get out of here. You can go over here and hit right click, and then you can change whatever skills you want. And then I don't think I have anything else over there, so that's fine. Right click, left click, change them up however you want to do. And then, so you can't look around. We're still in our mouse control, so we can't really do anything. And as soon as I hit down, I'm out and I can move around. So if I'm out here moving around, and I'm in my action, I come up to a merchant, hit F. It automatically adds the cursor. I hit down. I can move around in here. Then hit down, close that out. And then you just gotta make sure you hit down again and close out of your mouse control. You don't have to have this on. I just don't like having the cursor on the screen. So I just click it off. I have a little icon on here. Then since I sit further back on my chair and stuff, I'm not up against the screen. I want to be able to see what I'm actually targeting. So I can turn it off. But as soon as I aim on something, it has a little square there. Okay. Now we have mouse control. We got our face buttons. Let's go ahead and start adding our skills in. So we're going to go to Windows button again. Go up here. We're going to go to joysticks. Okay. We are going to create a radial menu. So we need to do a mode shift on here. So we want to create a mode shift. So this will change what the joysticks will do on here. So now we have a new menu pop up down here. So we want to change the new menu, mode shift 1, into create a radial menu. And we're going to name this one 6 through 9. Confirm. Okay. So now here, we're going to go over here. We're going to add virtual menu options. We're going to go to keyboard. We're going to do 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. So when we hold the button down and you pick any one of these, it'll just pick whatever skill. So this is skill 6, 7, 8, and 9. If you wanted to, instead of using the right bumper for option 0, you can add 0 on here. So you can have 5 on one side and 5 on the other. And that would be all your skills. It's just, I find it hard to do when you're in the middle of combat and you're trying to remember what exact zone this is for each one of these. So I just remove it and I use a bumper. You can do it however you want. If you do that, that leaves the bumpers free for you to add whatever you want to do with them. But after we get our 4 skills in, we're going to go to General, and we're going to go to Soft Pull Right Trigger, and hit back. And then I do Continuous. So as soon as I touch that direction to move the joystick to whatever direction, it automatically does it. So we're going to hit back again, and now we're going to do the exact same thing for this over here, for the left joystick. So we're going to go to Create Mode Shift. And now we have a mode shift down here. We're going to create radial menu. And we'll name this one 1 through 4. And then down here, we'll do add virtual menu entry, skill 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to go to General, and we're going to do left soft pull. The difference between soft pull and full pull is that if you do soft pull, you can still move around while you're holding it down. If you do left full trigger pull, it stops you from moving and just automatically does the command. So I like to be able to move around while I'm doing this. So here, I'm going to hold down the trigger button, and then I can just keep moving around. And then I can, so I'm just going to go forward, hold down the left trigger, just soft tap it, hold up, soft tap, move to the right, back down, and then forwards. Then on the same side, I can hold up, to the right, to down, and I can just do this wherever. 3, 4 up. And now I have all 4 of those, and then I have my left trigger, number 5 up here. If I had 0 unlocked, it'd be over here. So that's just down. I just hold the trigger just a little bit, and then 3, that's 2, 3, 4, 1. So I can just light hold it, and then I can just move around and fight. And then I can dodge out of the way, jump, whatever you got to do. It's pretty nice. Once you get used to it, it works pretty good. So now what we want to do is add our hero skills to this. So we're going to go to Windows button again. So I'm going to show you how to do an action set for the hero skills now. So we're going to go to add action set. We'll name it hero skills. Confirm. Go back up here, and we want to make sure that we're going to be on hero skills. So we want to add this to our D-pad. So we want to add on our default. We'll remove the command here, and then I'm going to add a command. Action set, change action set to hero skills, confirm. And then we want to go over to hero skills and then add an directional pad. And then I have it on the up, so on up, I'm going to change it back to default so we don't get stuck in the hero skills menu, or controller setup, I should say. And then while we're here, click on buttons. It's going to take us back to default. So we want to go back to hero skills. And then A, jump. B is dodge. X is interact. And then I'm going to go back to here. So we want to go back to hero skills again, and then we want to add in create a shift mode. Go down here. We're going to change this. We've already done this, but we got to add it into this menu. So we're going to add that to Y. And we're going to do 4-way, because we still want to be able to target stuff and move and jump and everything while we're using our hero skills. So we have to add all this back in. So we want to go back to hero skills. And this is where it gets fun again. So we're going to add that in, that in, that in. So when we hit Y, we can still target whatever we want to target. And then we're going to go make sure that that looks good. We're going to go joysticks. Remember, it's switched, so we got to do the bottom one first to create this and put it back up on top. It's a pain in the butt. And then directional pad. We're going to add these back in so we can move around while we do this. Up, down, left, right. And I still want to be able to run just in case I need to run away. And then I want to be able to toggle action on and off in the hero skills. And I still want to be able to look around and move while I'm doing this. So we're going to do right mouse click. We're going to go click the gear icon. We're going to go to outer ring. Drop this all the way down to 1. Okay, so now we have our movements and everything down. So we're going to go back to hero skills. Everything is set up just like our normal setup. But now we're going to add in our create mode shift. Add a radial menu. And we'll do this one. Hero skills 5 through N. Confirm. And then we're going to add in F5, F6, F7, and N. We're going to go to General. We're going to do this the right soft one again. I'm going to do continuous, click back, and then we're going to do, make sure, because once you do that, it kicks you back out of default, so you don't want to change anything. You have to make sure you're back in the hero skills. And then we're going to do create mode shift, create radial menu, and this is going to be hero skills 1 through 4. And then we're going to click, add those skills in, F1, F2, F3, and F4. General, we're going to do left trigger, half trigger, and then continuous. And that should give us everything that we need to go back and do this. So now we're running around. I'm still on my default. Click up, I can still attack, left, down. But now, if I click up and I hold left trigger and do up again, I don't have enough adrenaline. I only have one F or hero skill unlocked. So, but this is programmed for all of them. So if you have them all, you can just do it right here. You just click up, hit up again. I'm back into my default menu, up again. If I had enough adrenaline, I could do the skill, up again. I'm back to my default. And then if I want to go interact with anything, I can go in. I'm going to hit down so I can move my mouse around in here. And then this left click, I can sell stuff, close out, and then hit down again, and I'm back into my normal screen. I still use the mouse and everything to drag inventory from like my character to the bank and all that kind of stuff. It's just easier to do. You can do it from the joystick, but I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. But this is perfect for 99% of everything. So if we had any targets, we could just hold down the Y button again and we could just target through everything. Damn, pigs aren't targets apparently. But I already showed you how to do that. And if you wanted to, you could just go back into here, hit the Windows button again. And so you go to action set. You could add another one, which would be, let's say, mount. Confirm. And then you would just go to D-pad, and you could set this to hit right on the D-pad, and you can add this in for your mount, and you can do your mount skills and just how to do all that and how to get on your mount. So you just have a dedicated button, then you have left on your D-pad for whatever else you want to do. So you still have a bunch of options on here. I'm not an expert at this by any way at all, but if you have any questions, you can leave a comment on the video and I can try to answer them. Again, I'm not an expert. This is just how I've spent the last like 3 days trying to figure out how to play this game with a controller with no controller support. So this is what I've come up with. I've searched a ton of videos. A lot of them are the old UI for Steam, which no longer works, or they're just Steam Deck. So this is what I've come up with. I've taken everything I've learned from a bunch of random videos from all over the years, and I created this one. Hopefully this helps you guys. Again, you can use this for Final Fantasy XIV, another game that has a crap ton of buttons you got to push. Or you can just use it pretty much any game that you want to have set up. This works good for first-person shooters. I have it set up for a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, because you can just create whatever menu you want. You can just do whatever radio menu you want. You know, it works out pretty good. So let me know what you think. Hopefully this helps you. Yeah, if you have any questions, post them in the comments. Oh, I will also add the link to this in Steam. Hopefully it will upload my profile for you guys, and I will leave that in the comments too. So if you don't want to learn how to do this from scratch and you just want to copy it over, you can do that too. That's perfectly fine. Not everyone has days to learn how to do this.